Welcome back, Slam Pigs Podcast. I don't know about you guys, but I don't even know what our format's going to be. It's been such a slow news week this week. Jesus Christ. Sometimes it's just like scraping the bottom of the Sahara Desert just to find more sand. Michael, welcome back. I don't know about you, but I'm a little bummed out. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I mean, I guess we could talk about Greg Valentine's greatest matches. What a slow news week.
We could talk about the great career of Aldo Montoya.
From the worst parts of Puerto Rico.
From the poorest, deepest, darkest part of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, what better way we wouldn't be Slam Pigs if we let off with a terrible joke. Of course, everyone knows I'm joking. What a weekend for professional wrestling. People are still, we're 5-6 days removed, and people are still talking about it like it just happened. Biggest angle, I would say, quite some time. Of course, the John Cena heel turn. We'll get there, but Michael, how you been? It's been a minute. Welcome back. Elimination Chambers in the books. We're officially on the road to WrestleMania. One time, I don't know if you want to plug it. Where can people catch you?
Everybody, you can catch me on Twitter or X at Mike the Slam Pig. I'm also on Facebook. Man, that road to WrestleMania, it's becoming clearer and clearer. And just when you thought you had things figured out, old Triple H, old Paulie Levesque, pulls the rug out from under you and throws you a curveball you never saw coming.
Yeah. And it's weird, too, because up until Elimination Chamber, with those weird promos on SmackDown, I wasn't all like, yay. Like, it was fucking weird. I want your soul, and he kissed him, and it was... I hate when The Rock...
Yeah,
there's nothing worse than The Rock out there live with no script. Just like on NXT. He even admitted, I don't know what to say, so he just repeats himself. It's terrible. But the payoff was worth it. I knew something was going down, of course, when that was the main segment to close the show. And I definitely did when Cena just wouldn't fucking leave. I didn't think it was going to be Cena. I honestly thought it was going to be Punk, to be honest. The favor, which we still don't know. Then that's the great thing about all this now. This changes so much and so many what-ifs. And I think the biggest takeaway for me, Michael, before I give you the floor on this, unlike the past 5 Manias, we're going this close to a WrestleMania with nothing, as of yet, I'm sure there will be, planned for Roman Reigns. Who'd have thought we'd be saying that? And John Cena would be the one with so much buzz. I'd say John Cena in one night took more buzz than Roman has in the past 5 years. And that's nothing to take away from Roman's reign. It brought wrestling back as far as mainstream, in my opinion, the Roman run. You can agree or disagree, but that's how I feel about it. And this was just on another level, mainstream-wise. And it's going to be up from here. Michael, what'd you think? The execution, Travis Scott being out there, just the whole thing about it. The John Cena heel turn, 22 years in the making, has happened. In his last year.
Well, with all due respect, I mean, to Roman Reigns, it'd be pretty hard in the last 5 years to do anything that's going to be quite as significant as what we've seen here just this past Saturday. I mean, talk about the prototypical white meat babyface over the last 2 decades. Mr. Hustle, loyalty, respect, all the kids out there with their wristbands. I mean, I think it's safe to say this is the biggest heel turn since Hulk Hogan. And I still, and I can remember, we're old enough, unfortunately, to remember the Hulk Hogan heel turn. I think this is 2 totally different reactions to these, though. I think when Hulk Hogan did his heel turn, the fans were legitimately angry, like throwing shit in the ring, like, you betrayed us. As to the Cena heel turn, it's like that thing you've been waiting for, and you asked for it, and you wanted it. That one thing for Christmas you always wanted that you never got. And then you finally just gave up on it. Like, okay, I guess it's fine. And then, out of nowhere, you get that thing for Christmas that you just never thought you'd get. So I think, as far as the Cena heel turn goes, I love the way it was executed. Maybe a little over the top for my taste. Like, Cena, for me, will never be what I call the best actor. And I know that's what he does for a living now. But he's just so over the top with all of his mannerisms. Even the face he made, like, that face was just like, oh, my God. Could you? But,
yeah.
I mean, what do you expect?
dude,
But
dude.
it's
It,
definitely for me like that Christmas gift you always wanted and you kind of forgot about, and then you finally got it. I like the execution. The backstory with the whole wanting your soul thing, it's still not my favorite way to do it, but we should appreciate it. And as The Rock says, enjoy the ride that they're going to take us on here to the road to WrestleMania.
Now, it's rumored, I just saw this today, that the plans, this could be fucking bullshit. As so many actually, I gotta say, the dirt sheets are batting like 0 for 20 lately, as far as rumors. WWE, and they're mocking them on air openly with Alexa Bliss, stuff like that. It's been great, because fuck those guys. But I did see a rumor today from one of the more reputable ones that when John Cena comes back, the plans are for him to shave his head bald, go in a whole different look. I don't know about the shaving his head bald thing. Maybe he could just go back to the flat top Tony look. That'd be fine for me. But I
To be
agree.
fair, he's losing hair rapidly as we speak, so maybe it is about time for him to do
Yeah.
something. But I don't know. Seeing him with a bald head, we've never seen it. I mean, I guess
It's a rule,
maybe
I guess, now in wrestling when you're a beloved babyface for 15 to 20 years and you start to go bald, you got to turn heel now with Hogan and Cena.
that's the only way to do it.
Um, is The Rock going bald? I think that's why he shaves it.
The Rock had a big time like
Yeah.
in the front. His
He,
was more in the front, I think, where his hairline was going back.
I think it even went back to like '01 and '02, where just turning like a little half turd on top of his head. It looked like
That widow's peak was becoming a widow's mountain. So
it was a widow's
he
poop.
definitely he he definitely shaved it in time.
Um, his widow's peak just totally threw me off. Where was I going, Michael?
The
Jesus.
one that really threw me off was when Triple H did it because it's not like he had a receding hairline. He still had, those long, luscious locks.
The
And
first
no
the
offense,
first attempt wasn't that great. He didn't quite figure it out. It was a little too Jeff Jarrett '99, which nobody should rock
but
that hairstyle.
but still, I don't like Triple H with a bald head either. I'm sorry, he's got too much of a, no offense to his head, but it's not a good looking bald head.
That's what I was going to say. I saw from a more reputable dirt sheet today that when John Cena comes back, yes, I agree. And I also say when he finally, and that I think it's a great thing too, that and when Hogan turned with the NWO, he cut the promo immediately. Mean Gene ran to the ring, got hit in the head with the battery, hence the dent in his head till the day he died.
Fuck it.
The trash. Put that
Yeah.
cigarette out. Yeah. With the Cena thing, it they're saving it, which is brilliant. And that's what I think Bischoff should have done. He should have saved it, but he didn't. And it worked out for the better. Whatever. Who am I to say? I'm not Eric Bischoff.
Well, I think they had to do it with Hogan to kind of explain what was going on, like why he
Yeah.
would turn with these people and all that. With Cena, you get it. You can read between the lines what
Right.
he did, why he's doing it. Does he really need to explain it? Like even when they did the post show and he just came, took the microphone off the thing and dropped it and walked away.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Like he's going to be, and the only thing that really sucks is for the next 2 or 3 weeks until he's supposed to be back on TV. We're just gonna see over and just like we saw on Raw, just nothing but recaps of him turning heel. Like I'm hoping that it's just not played out over and over to where it gets you sick.
Yeah.
But obviously, it was a big time moment. They're trying to promote how big it was. I get why they're doing that. I just hope they don't overdo it.
I think when he not only comes back with a new look, that promo when he first talks, I don't care if it's 1991 Sergeant Slaughter shit. I want the jorts, and I want a trash can, and I want all the armbands, and I want all that shit thrown in it and set on fire during the promo. And he should
Well,
come
what's he gonna wear?
an all black. See, when I see this, my mind immediately goes, better than you, elitist Hollywood stable. All black fucking, Oscars.
Wearing a suit?
Not mafia style, like all silk, but just a fucking all business. I'm gonna.
You want him Chris Jericho? You want him coming out in the suit?
Yeah, in a way,
Yeah.
yeah. Flare it up.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it. When have you? I mean, other than like an award show, when have you seen John Cena in a suit? So I guess it would make sense.
Now the cool thing about this is, which Cena's wanted to do this since 2012, Michael. We've all seen the stories. He had new music made. He had new merch made. He was ready to turn heel. Vince got cold feet at the last second. That's exactly.
And that's exactly why he didn't, because of merch. Vince was making that sweet John Cena merch money, and he didn't want to lose it. Same
Now,
reason he could have done the same thing with Hogan. He would have never turned Hogan heel ever.
I give credit
So
to, shockingly, Roman Reigns for this because he proved that that's not true. He sold more merch as a heel, in my opinion, than as a babyface. And he was supposed to be that Cena, which just, it didn't pan out. He had to go to hell before he got to heaven, and I think him turning heel wasn't just
but I think
us
they
whining
saw
back
earlier.
then. We saw it was essential for him to evolve his character. It wasn't a case of just, oh, we're sick of him. Yeah, we were sick of him, but we knew then when Roman was the unbearable tater tots promo babyface, if you turn him heel, that's the ticket one day to actually make him an organic babyface, and it worked.
Well, and that's what got him over to begin with. Like, I think we saw early on that we didn't get that pushback with Cena when he first was babyface. Like, people liked him when he first turned babyface, as to where Reigns, when he first got made into a babyface, people already hated it.
Yeah.
So I think Vince at least had enough know-how to realize that the babyface thing can only be a setup to the end product, which was the eventual heel turn.
Yeah.
But with Cena, I don't think this. Do you think this happens with Vince in charge?
Only after, God, extreme,
Do you think,
rapid amounts of
honestly,
trying to talk him into it? Maybe him being older now would have helped because he's not as quick on his feet. Maybe.
Man, I don't think. I still don't think he would have done it.
I think what could have sold it is Triple H saying, I'm going to throw a celebrity in the angle. That may have done it for Vince. Especially, Travis Scott had, 11, 12 billion streams on Spotify last year? Massive.
Oh, did he?
Like, you or can probably not name a song. I can't. And I don't know him that well, but I appreciate that they're smart enough to capitalize on one of the biggest musicians in the world right now. It's for the kids. Wrestling's for kids. Let's be real. At the end of the day, that's what it should be. It should be for kids with an edge that appeals to all. That's a perfect promotion.
And they're trying to make it more mainstream again, right? So obviously,
and it doesn't hurt that the mainstream actually wants something to do with them again, since they're inside with UFC now. That helps.
Yeah, between that and I mean, they've been doing this for the past few years with the Bad Bunny thing and other celebrities like that. So I get what they're doing, but I honestly don't know. I'd never heard of Travis Scott before. I'm not gonna lie. That's just not my genre. So, I mean, it's shocking the almost 40-year-old, almost 40-year-old white single male doesn't know who Travis Scott is. But what are you gonna do? Honestly, obviously, he's pretty popular.
The 41-year-old married male had even probably less clue than you did. So if it makes you
so I mean, maybe we're a little out of the mainstream music loop, but
I just knew of the one concert he had where it ended up with tragically people losing their lives, and he didn't really.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he didn't really do anything about it, so people hate him for that. That's really
shit.
So,
well, I can tell you one person who definitely doesn't like him right now from the reports I've read. It's Cody.
Well, see, I never know what to think when it comes from Conrad Thompson. I just watched that full episode with Eric Bischoff. It dropped yesterday, commenting on the whole Cena turn, and he loved it. But he said Conrad has always texted Cody, been friends with him since the pep rally in the AEW days. You know, they've always been tight. So when we had the match with Rollins in Hell in a Cell, he had the torn pec, and back then Conrad said he texted him. Cody was like, just a scratch. And Conrad was like, all right, he's going to be... And we all know the purple titty. It was horrible. It was more than just a scratch. So Conrad apparently texted him. It was like... And Cody said about the Travis Scott thing, and Cody's response was, barely touched me. So who knows? The reports are he has a busted eardrum, a black eye.
Yep. Yep. And they're saying that could keep him out up until WrestleMania.
But to be fair to Travis Scott, he's not trained, okay? Cody probably told him...
He has been training, though.
But come on. I mean... And Cody told him beforehand, lay it the fuck in. And you know he wanted him to lay it the fuck in. And I also saw a clip of Travis Scott backstage. I don't know if you saw this with Triple H and Gorilla and The Rock going up. I don't think it was malicious. It was just an accident. He seems like a nice enough guy. He was like, I want to buy a ring for my house now. He loved it. He loved being out there. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, he wants to wrestle.
We'll see. I don't think... Maybe in a match in a mixed tag or some shit like that. Don't give.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. He wants to wrestle. I know he's been training to wrestle. I think this was just a case of he got a little overzealous and took it a little too literally. But I mean, accidents happen. But I can tell you, I'd be pretty pissed off. And if he ever does get in the ring, Cody's already got that receipt planned.
The only way I feel like I'm gonna hate this entire, and I agree. The only way I'm gonna hate this entire angle is if we hear that first promo from John Cena, and nothing's changed on the entrance. It's still he still seems like he's not smiling as much, and he says hi to Stu, his cameraman, but he still holds up his little bullshit. Maybe he'll say something clever as a heel, but my biggest fear is, remember back in 2008, the storyline with JBL and Shawn Michaels, and Shawn was doing heel shit, but he was under like the mind control of JBL. He had blackmailed him. He had to do it. If it's the route, I have what I had to do to win 17. Please don't judge. I will fucking hate this. They need to go all in on goddamn Cena. And all you got to do is reference Hollywood Hogan and the amazing character shift Hogan did. Maybe not that chicken shitty and that like laughing crazy and just weird.
I think you'll see it similar to The Rock, how he turned heel last year, and they changed his music up a little bit. I think you'll see something like that with Cena's music, which will also change his mannerisms a little bit. I think you're going to get a little more realistic John Cena out of this, other than the white meat babyface that you've gotten over the past 20 years. So I'm excited because, I mean, if anyone's ever watched Total Divas, unfortunately, I have.
Take shoes off.
One thing we remember, the biggest heel on that fucking show was John Cena. So I would love to see that kind of guy. The guy that was just so particular about everything and just such a dick.
Maybe they should give him like the Danny Tanner OCD gimmick too. We're like, they come out as a stable again in Travis Scott, but Travis Scott doesn't wipe his feet like a classic person. And John Cena goes behind and wipes the and he pushes them like, what the fuck you doing? Show respect.
Yep.
And it's dirty too.
That's what I was see. I'll never forget the episode where he comes home and Nikki Bella's making him this home cooked meal, and he's so pissed.
Yeah.
Because she's getting his kitchen dirty.
Dude, I just had an idea. I just had a brilliant idea for the channel. You and I should go back, season 1 episode. We should review every episode of Total Divas.
Ugh. I'd need a lot of alcohol.
I mean, I need a lot of weed. So we got this. I feel like
live watch along.
Honestly, I feel like season 1 and 2 were somewhat entertaining. It's when they included like new people from NXT and shit. It was just too much. It's too acty in the end.
How about the time fucking Tamina just beat the shit out of some dudes outside of a club?
Oh yeah, yeah. How about the time Tyson Kidd in training went up and kicked the shit out of Fandango for flirting with Natty, like stiffed him.
Yep.
God damn! Don't fuck with Tyson Kidd's Nat attack.
Trained in the dungeon. Don't fuck with him.
I have no clue why I said Nat attack. But yeah, I would normally ask Michael who's going to win at Mania, but I'm saving that because, of course, we're going to have a Mania prediction show, so why waste it here?
We got time.
That's the big one, too. That's the main event. We're not going to just do it here.
Yeah, we got to wait till this whole card's, set in stone first anyway.
Speaking of cards being set in fucking stone, beautiful goddamn segue, Michael. We thought we were going to get Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Now, Rhea Ripley could work her way... Rhea Ripley could work her way back in a triple threat somehow, which I think probably is going to happen. But that's one of the most shocking endings in the history of Monday Night Raw. I thought it was going to be
that Triple H shit.
I thought it was going to be a competitive match. Io Sky is really good. They work really well together. I thought maybe we'd get a funky finish where it ends up being a 3-way. Or maybe a rematch with the two the next week where there's still no winner. And of course, let's just make it a 3. But no, she beat her fucking clean. And also, I don't feel like people are talking about this enough. I feel like just watching her mannerisms, especially on the finish where she was on the top saying "See you at Mania." Is Rhea Ripley converting back to a heel?
I think that's what they're trying to do.
Seems that way.
But I will say, much like you said earlier with the Cena heel turn, I think some of it made me question it a little bit when I saw that it was the main event and it kept getting promoted all night and it was going to be the last thing on the show. My son and I were actually watching this because he's actually finally starting to get into a little bit of wrestling. So now that it's on Netflix, we can kind of sit here and watch it together while he's doing his thing.
Real quick, because I love him too. He's my nephew. What do you think it was the moment that What wrestler called his eye? Was it Jey Uso?
It's literally ever since it's been on Netflix. I
Yeah,
want to say the first wrestler that where he was like, "Who was that?" was Penta.
that makes sense.
Like Penta was, he's like, "Who's that?" And then he watched the match, and then even the other night we're watching the main event. He's like, "Who do you think's gonna win, Dad?" And he was rooting for Io Sky, and I guess because he had seen her the week before or previously, and I was like, "I don't know. I think Rhea's gonna win." He's like, "Watch, Dad." And then at the end, he was all excited. He was like, "I told you." So
Well, good. That's awesome.
kid's been watching wrestling for a month, and he already knows the finish.
That's great. I'm even more excited this Saturday when you drop $50 and you guys watch AEW Revolution together live on pay per view.
Never would I ever.
You're not punishing him. Jesus.
It'd be like any other punishment. I'd be punishing myself.
Look, in all seriousness, I keep peeking back in, and I really want it to be better over there. I'm kind of like an MJF.
Hey, there are some bright spots going on over there. We'll give him some credit.
I've gotten over the Hangman cost the company CM Punk, but I'm trying to see past that. Everybody makes mistakes. He hasn't been a cock in interviews about it. He's still kind of a douchebag, but it's MJF.
He's in a hell of an angle right now.
I will say, Dynamite last night, MJF had a hell of a promo. That was great shit. Other than
Speaking
that,
of promos, Travis.
yeah.
Also from Monday Night Raw this past week.
Oh my god.
Did we quite possibly see the best CM Punk promo we've ever seen?
I don't know about ever because it's Ring of Honor stuff, man. I mean, oh my goodness.
Is this top the pipe bomb?
No. I think it's right. I think it's at number 2 in Pipe Bomb because Pipe Bomb changed so many things and it was just unheard of to do that at the time where a lot of people were cussing. I call this the potty mouth era. It's awesome too. And I agree that like Cody said, go fuck yourself. And Punk said shit a lot in this promo. That's just, kids are going to hear it. Kids are hearing it. They're saying it. Just whatever. Just if it makes sense with the story, it's fine to say drop a fuck once in a while. The crowd liked it. It, Michael.
Sure did.
Yeah, dude, that was an incredible Punk promo. That's the CM Punk I've been wanting to see in the past year. I knew for the first couple months we were going to get, I'm happy to be back home, PR Punk. The injury fucked kind of a lot of that. That's not his fault. But because I think the stuff with Rollins, this would have been on the road to WrestleMania last year.
Yeah,
they'd be doing this shit. But this
was
you
right in his wheelhouse. Go out, and you could tell it was kind of impromptu. Sorry to cut you off, but it's especially from the start when he looks around, and he's like, "So who should we talk about?" And he literally Pat McAfee's like, "The Rock." He's like, "The Rock." He's like, "All right." It just cuts the promo.
I love when he makes fun of him for the goosebumps thing because I hate when The Rock does that.
Yeah,
stop it. You're not a junkie. You're not about to shoot.
There's still like a little bit of heat between those two. There has to be, because Punk was so pissed off about the last time when The Rock came in and took the title from him and took the main event at WrestleMania. So that was the subject of the original pipe bomb. But
the promo itself on Raw was amazing, but also that's one of the best pull-aparts they've ever done, I feel like, in that company. Credit to Seth Rollins, too.
I felt like it was good until it got to be, comical. Like it's like, how many times are you going to get pulled apart? And then it was like watching an episode of a show where they just can't get them apart. But
Family Guy, the chicken and Peter.
Like the chicken fight.
But I don't know, man. I miss when wrestlers were angry. I miss eras like that. You know what I mean? Punk didn't do any of his posing on the way. He meant all fucking business. I used to hate that about, speak of the devil, back in 10 years ago, I hated that about John Cena. He'd lose the title on pay-per-view and come out smiling for his entrance like nothing happened. And Nikki Bella did that shit. And so many people did that shit. It drove me nuts.
Well, because back then, wins and losses didn't matter, Travis.
Good riddance, you horny old codger. See you in court. My God. It's been, I don't even say that just to, be on that side of like the algorithms and popularity and get expect. No, it's been so much better. It hasn't been perfect, but without Vince gone, needless to say, it's the product has made way more sense and felt a lot more real. And even SmackDown 3 hours has kind of been but imagine that under Vince, even under Triple H, a 3-hour show, it still flows better.
Yeah, and you, like you mentioned earlier, the dirt sheets aren't batting very well because in the Triple H era, Triple H can keep a fucking secret.
Or he'll call an audible, which still makes sense.
Or he might even be the one setting up these dirt sheets, like sending out. From what we've seen, he has no problem sending out some fake shit just to get them to write about it, so that everyone's shocked, which is smart.
So back to the original topic, Michael, because it's one of those episodes. Do you think this turns into a triple threat with the ladies at Mania? Rhea works her way back in, or do you see her in a program with another woman?
No, I think this definitely sets up a triple threat, and here's why. This is like one of those dream matches they've been trying to set up for a little while with Bianca and Rhea. But the problem is they don't want either one of them to look weak in this feud. So, with the end game here, somebody's got to get beat. And this way it can still set it up for rematches in the future, where I think you'll see Io Sky is the one that's going to take the pin from one of these two in the end at WrestleMania, to where it can set up a future down the road program with these two and keep them both still looking strong. I think ultimately it's going to set up for Bianca to win the title at WrestleMania, but Rhea will be right there to come and exercise a rematch clause or some sort of program between those two that could carry them maybe into SummerSlam or something. I think that's the biggest reason why Triple H is doing this. Plus, also, Io Sky deserves it. In my opinion, probably the best female wrestler on the planet right now. You can say whatever you want.
Tony Storm
exists. You can say about your Tony Storms and people like that.
I think Tony Storm, like I own her.
Well, I'm just saying, Tony Storms and others are out there. I will give them credit, but I think all around in-ring work, Io Sky is the total package of what you want inside the ropes.
I don't know about promos. Like as far as Japanese
that's what
women,
I said,
she's
inside
not,
the ropes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Who works better than she does? I mean, let's be fair. She can do it all.
This may be a cop out but I have eyes, and from what I've seen in the past 2 to 3 years, I feel like Rhea Ripley's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time at this point. If she keeps this going,
she's definitely becoming the Charlotte Flair, as
in a good
we could
way.
say,
in a good way.
Yeah, of this era of women, and I think Bianca Belair is fantastic. If anyone was gonna turn heel, I really wish they would turn her heel because I loved her as a heel in NXT.
It's coming,
but
I think she was going to be involved in that Naomi attack somehow. They've got to. It's still.
If I'm going to turn anyone heel, it would have been Bianca, but I know that she sells a ton of merch too. And
well, we just talked about she could sell more as a heel, so
maybe she could be cooler as a heel.
Just get those little kissy lips off the merch and then take it seriously.
But yeah, I'm excited about the three-way there. I think that's going to turn out to be a phenomenal match to where you can put it on either night and it's going to be a banger.
Well, Michael, I told you we had breaking news to top the show. Would you like that news to drop now?
Sure.
All right. So, as announced
I'm listening.
by WWE on Twitter today, one of the first inductees into this year's Hall of Fame, Earthquake and Typhoon, the natural disasters. Fuck yes, long overdue. I love these guys.
All right.
Not so much.
Well,
come on, man. Earthquake, come on.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you were talking to me about this breaking news that you wanted to get out on the show, and you got me all like hyped up for this big time news.
I have one more breaking news, but you already know about it, but they don't. This week, Slim Jim right now, their current displays in all sheets are with LA Knight on them. So I was waiting on my food, and I wasn't going to do it. But when I'm waiting for 2 hot dogs for 20 fucking minutes, I get a little pissed off. And they're just going to throw it away. So I took the top of the display, and it's now sitting proudly in my office. A 2025 LA Knight Slim Jim display. I'm so tickled pink that happened.
I was getting worried there because he's been having to share those commercials lately.
With all, if I flip it, Bianca Belair's on the other side.
With that and old Yeetski too.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think they're going to at least get one Yeah versus Yeet commercial in their belts. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of LA Knight, before we get on to questions from you guys this week, thanks so much. What the fuck are they doing? What? What
do you mean? They just made him the number 1 contender for the U.S. title.
A belt he should have never fucking lost if this was just going to be how Nakamura carried it as a champ. What was the
Hey,
point?
what's the old adage when it comes to baby faces and belts, Travis?
It's just so when he had that appearance in Noah,
The
he could
money's
go.
in the chase. The money's in the
Also,
chase for the belt.
it is. You're right, but I don't know. He just fucking won it, and he just lost it, and then just blah blah blah.
He's got
Christ.
unfinished business with Nakamura. He never got a
What
rematch.
if he doesn't win
So
the tournament? Then what? Then what do you do?
he did. He did.
Oh, did he? I did not
Yeah.
watch. Okay. So it's going to be him and
They just had it
Nakamura
last week on SmackDown.
at WrestleMania. Those two.
I don't know if they're going to wait that long for it, but I know he's definitely the number one contender now. What happened was they had 3 separate matches, one-on-one matches, and then the 3 winners all faced each other in a triple threat at the end of the night.
I just didn't know it was over already. I thought there was like
Yeah,
another
so
week.
what happened was Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, and trying to think of the third person that was in it. It doesn't matter. LA Knight won the triple threat and is the number one contender for the United States Championship. And had a little stare off with Shinsuke, and yeah.
I'm
That's that.
sorry. I'm still sore that you just didn't give a shit about the natural disasters going in the Hall of Fame. I'm a little upset.
Oh, sorry. You can't set me up like
we
that.
grew
Like
up.
I thought it was.
We grew up on those men.
I did not grow up on the natural disasters.
fuck
Okay,
you
there wasn't
didn't.
any part.
Bullshit.
There wasn't any part of me that turned on my television. It was like, man, I hope I get to see fucking Earthquake today.
I'm sorry. What's one of your favorite pay-per-views? SummerSlam '92. Who defended tag belts in that show against the Beverlys?
Oh, for God's sake! What a banger of a match that was.
That's the night Demolition exploded for the first time. Repo Man versus Crush. It's great. It's fucking. One more thing, because
you grew up on the natural disasters,
dude.
Like I had their shirt or something.
We were kids when he squashed Hawk. You were upset when Hawk had to get tape ribs. Don't tell me you didn't grow up.
Well, I was
John
3 years old.
He was in the oddities.
I was 3 years old.
Were you 3 years old in '98 when he was in the oddities?
No, I didn't know that was him until afterwards.
Oh, you knew. How could you not?
But, congratulations to Earthquake and Typhoon.
Congrats.
Typhoon was almost WWE champion.
Really? Oh, yeah, because they wanted to make him a Sheik, right?
They wanted to have him instead of Slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the? Oh, God.
And then instead, he got to be the Shockmaster.
So he lucked out being the Shockmaster at that rate. Fuck. At least he's immortalized as a Shockmaster. He would have just gone down as a bad, lame gimmick as the other Sheik Foon.
But in all seriousness, rest in peace to those guys. Much deserved. Hall of Fame inductee.
Fred Ottman is well alive. He's fine. He's not dead.
Oh. Sorry.
One more thing, because I always do this, Michael. There's always one thing I wish we talked about. We'll do it real quick, because I fucking love this guy, and I'm happy for him. And he's out of Guantanamo Bay. Ricky Saints debuted finally for NXT. What do you think of the name? What do you think of what you've seen? What do you think of Ricky Saints in general?
I was a big Ricky Starks fan. One of the few bright spots there in AEW.
He's on my wall.
I think he's found a home.
And my AEW
What's that?
He's on my wall as AEW figure. That's going to be worth money one day. It's not coming out of that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hopefully it will. That means he's done a good job. But as far as the name change, doesn't bother me. It's pretty standard with WWE. It's not like it's that big of a change. He's embracing his hometown. You know, he's doing what he's got to do to make a name for himself elsewhere. I think it definitely helps when you switch brands, especially from a brand that really did nothing for you. If you could just have a fresh start somewhere, I think a name change is good. As far as NXT goes, it's going to do nothing but help their product. He's a pretty seasoned worker. He's been around the business a long time. Listening to his interview with Bully Ray, he's definitely a confident dude. He believes in himself. He thinks he's ready for this opportunity, and I guess time will tell. There's definitely some guys that I'm excited to see him work with, and I'm stoked to see where it goes.
Same, totally agree. And I love the name of his finisher because it reminds me of South Park, Rochambeau.
Oh, they're not going to call it Saints Row?
Ooh, look at you.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to hit up Shawn Michaels on Twitter and tell him your idea.
That'll be $20.
Michael, it's time for our retro segment of the week. I don't know how much you remember, but WWE Vault.
Oh, we had questions.
We do. It's coming up. I want to get this in real quick. because you got to have a
all right.
retro recap. The Terry Funk mix WWE Vault threw up. Did you happen to watch any of that?
Terry Funk, what?
The Terry Funk 4-hour video WWE Vault threw up a couple weeks ago. I sent you a link to watch.
Yeah, I watched some of it, but that's a lot of Terry Funk.
That's a good thing. And the empty arena match with Jerry Lawler's on here, I'd never seen that before. Fucking awesome. And the older I get, tweeted this out, the older I get, Terry Funk is turning into like one of my all-time favorite wrestlers of all time. Maybe the most complete professional wrestler of all time. Terry Funk. Fucking insane.
Great wrestler, not my favorite promo.
You don't like the crazy Terry promos?
I think it's the voice for me.
Yeah.
Well, when you get over there, Michael, and I can't even do it.
But
I
can't do it at all.
I forget who I was listening to the other day in their podcast, and they did a great Terry Funk, and I was like, "Yep, that's exactly my issue with the Terry Funk promo."
I know. Pritchard does a good one, but I'm sure you weren't listening to Bruce Pritchard.
No, it's like a if Paul Bearer went through puberty a little bit.
Well, fair enough. Well, it leads off with the Awesome I Quit match with Ric Flair from NWA. Tremendous. It's got all the eras. It's got a dark match on here from the Attitude Era, which was cool. It was Austin, Taker, Chainsaw Charlie, and Cactus Jack versus The Nation. It's pretty no commentary.
What about that famous hardcore match from Thunder against Bret Hart?
It is not on here. But if you want to check it out, hit us up on the old channel, cheap plug. We reviewed that, unfortunately. But yeah, that's our retro. Michael didn't do his homework. That's fine. I did.
It's 4 hours.
I didn't watch it all. But the best thing about it is every time they change a clip, they show a clip of Terry putting his head up to a horse while it farts. It's hilarious. But yeah, check it out. WWE Vault. It's called the Mixtape. 4-hour Terry Funk Mixtape. Highly recommended from me. Michael, we got some questions. It's been a minute since we had these. Are you ready to hear a P. Patsy?
Let's hear it.
All right. I'm going to do that way. From our good buddy Mike, Colonel Fancy, Burn Retinas. Who is your favorite second or third generation wrestler? I already know Michael's answer. That's a layup.
Oh, well, obviously it's Bret Hart.
Yeah.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. He's done it all in professional wrestling. A career cut way too short, nonetheless. What can you say? I mean, the guy was brought up in a family of wrestlers. Wrestling was second nature to him. Growing up, there was no better baby face for me than the Hitman. He definitely filled that gap for kids that were a little too young to really be Hulkamaniacs and kids that were, not quite ready to move on to the Attitude Era yet. So Bret Hart was perfect for me.
Now, for years and years and years, that was definitely my answer. There's no question. It was either Bret or Owen, because I love Owen just as much as Bret. But in the past 2 to 3 years, this might be lame, but it's Cody Rhodes. Because look at what the man had to go through to get where he's at. And he did it. And he did what his father couldn't do. And very rarely in these wrestling families do sons do that. The Rock did it. Bret did it. Cody did it. And that's not to take anything away from Goldust. Goldust was great for what he did. But Cody, who would have fucking thought that dashing Cody Rhodes with the Phantom of the Opera mask all these years later would be the new John Cena? So he is. He's the new Hogan, the new John Cena. I don't think it gets any higher than that. So it's got. And
I think the
Michael,
best thing.
You're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate me for this. I think Cody Rhodes right now is more popular than Bret Hart ever was in his prime. Mainstream wise, kids wise, it is what it is. I'd call it like
totally different eras. I mean, it's hard to compare. But
children still existed in '94.
Yeah, and more of them, I believe, watched in '94 than they do now. But at least little children. But I think it was catered much more to smaller children back then, also. But I think the best thing that ever happened to Cody was, well, him having to earn it. To be fair, I mean, when he first started out, he was total nepotism. Let's be fair. He got his foot in the door because he was Dusty's son. They saw him at the Hall of Fame, decided, hey, we need to get this kid in here. kind of got fast tracked to the main roster. Didn't really get over. Was in what was not Evolution, but with Randy Orton. What was it called? I'm getting old.
Legacy.
Legacy. Yes, he was in there in Legacy.
It's
Made a name for himself.
The original New Day. It's a
Yes,
new day.
it's a new generation. Yeah,
Great fucking
but
music. Priceless. Manu.
but made a name for himself there. Uh, Intercontinental title reigns, kind of a mid Carter. But the best thing he ever could do was get out of there and start over, like most wrestlers do. Go on the Indies, make a name for yourself.
Startup company.
Not that he didn't already have one.
Start a
Not
company.
that he didn't already have one. And then eventually, have the balls and the wherewithal and the right backing to be able to start your own company
And you know
and
what?
get over even more.
Pause it real quick. Hindsight on Cody leaving AEW. What a ballsy fucking move that was, dude. He had stake. He was a founder. To go back to the guy, because it was still Vince, because remember, Vince came back. To go back to the guy that made you Stardust. That's going to go down as one of the ballsiest decisions ever made in pro wrestling history. It's got to be.
But also the perfect
And
timing.
I'm not trying to suck Cody Rhodes' dick on this episode. I'm a fan of Cody. I'm not a huge diehard Cody fan, but I got to give
Is that going to be in the thumbnail? You just throw deep with some Cody.
Well, we're off YouTube. But I call it like I see it, man. It is what it is. The facts. Like, I don't know.
And there's plenty of other great honorable mentions out there as well. Let's not forget about Randall Keith.
Definitely.
Mr.
Orton. But never made
The Rock.
Never made the guy. Again, like Cody has.
Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig.
Yeah. Should have been champ.
There's a lot of guys out there that great second, third generation stars out there. So
a random one, Jake the Snake Roberts. Grizzly Smith was his dad. What a piece of shit he was. And then you got, your David San Martinos and your Greg Gagnes and your fucking David Flair. Can't be remiss if we didn't mention old David. Thank you very much.
There's another one in WCW you're forgetting.
Yeah. Who's that?
What's his name? Oh, fuck. Oh.
Eric Watts.
The book. Yes, Eric Watts.
Yeah. Ooh.
Jesus Christ. Who could forget that one?
I remember when he debuted in TNA like 10 years later and he wore the worst looking like Jinkos bell bottoms trying to be hip. Like, no, you're still fucking Eric Watts. You're never going to get that stink off of you. Just play a psycho.
Former United States champion Eric Watts.
Oh my God. The original user of the STFU. Eric Watts. Thank you very much, Mike, Burn Retinas, Colonel Fancy. Get over there, check him out on YouTube, at Colonel Fancy on Twitter. Next question, longtime friend at Mellow Dottie on Twitter. If you could change the Rumble / No Way Out, which I assume she means Elimination Chamber. She streams a lot of SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, which is from 02, so I get the mistake. To set up anything, if you could change anything from this Rumble and Elimination to set up anything different going into Mania, what would you go with? Michael, I would have totally made Gunther drop the belt on the road to WrestleMania.
And who would have taken it?
Owens.
Okay. So that sets up somebody else possibly winning the Rumble. But yeah, I see what you're doing there. I mean, I think the one thing I would change at this point, I would not have had Jey Uso win the Rumble.
No, I wouldn't have done that.
I think they pulled the trigger way too soon on this one. And I think it's kind of showing on TV. It's pretty sad when the Rumble winner and the world champion are kind of an afterthought on television. Where it's put like right in the middle of the show, and it's just kind of heatless. It's really quite a bland feud that was just done, which is my biggest problem with it. Like Jey Uso just lost to him, like before the Rumble, so it's. To have him win the Rumble and then to challenge Gunther again, it just seems like a retrend and maybe not one of Triple H's best decisions.
I would have had Kevin Owens come out later in the night and win the Royal Rumble. That would have pissed everyone off and got so much great heel heat. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm actually kidding. That's not what I would have done. What I actually kidding. That's not what I would have done. What I would have done besides make LA Knight win it, I would have made Braun Breaker win it, go into Mania. And if you want to make a name for yourself, I just go back to 1990. I'm looking up there to the frame signed picture. Double champ beats Gunther. What a match that would fucking be. WrestleMania worthy.
Don't you worry. I think you're going to see those two headline some WrestleManias together in the future.
I can't wait for the inevitable Jacob Fatu Braun Breaker matches. Holy fucking shit. That's
I
what
think
I'm waiting on.
those three are the future of the company.
That's what I've done different. As far as the women, I would have made Alexa Bliss win the Rumble. It made sense, and it would have been a for-Bray moment. I know they just made Stratton a babyface, and you don't want to make people choose. And stop trying, Charlotte. People are always going to hate Charlotte Flair, no matter how sad the comeback story is. People have a hard time feeling sympathy for multimillionaires who've rubbed it in your face for 15 years. So,
yep.
Sasha Banks effect. Won the
title 14 times.
Rinse and repeat, the Sasha Banks effect. Yeah, I would have done that different. Michael, what would you done?
Honestly, with the women's Rumble, I would have had a title on the line in the Rumble. Like I don't know. I would have found a way to make one of those titles be up for grabs in that Rumble.
You want possibly Rhea to do the thing where she's bored of competition, so for the first time ever, a woman's going to defend her title in a Royal Rumble?
Well, you could have done it different ways. If I were to book it, I would have had champion versus champion the week before the Rumble. The loser of that match has to defend their title at the Rumble, in the Rumble. So I would have had Stratton versus Ripley. The loser of that match has to defend their title in the Rumble, which sets up so many possibilities then. I mean, we've seen it done.
Yeah, we have. I actually think what they're doing with Logan Paul, it's obvious, is perfect for him. AJ Styles gets AJ Styles relevant again with a big name, and I think it's going to be a great match. This actually leads me, thank you, Mellow Dottie, for your question. Leads me to our last question from our buddy Jim. Of course.
Drink that beer, baby.
It's a Logan Paul question at A Beer and a Game on YouTube, too. Check him out, game reviews, all that good stuff. His question, Michael, last question of the episode, then we'll get out of here. And why does it have to be on Logan Paul? Is there any way you could ever see yourselves enjoying having Logan Paul on WWE programming? As much as I don't like Logan Paul, I don't hate him being out there. I think he has trained his ass off. I think I'm going to go to hell for saying this. He does an acai moonsault better than Hayabusa. It was picture perfect. I think he's a great heel. I think he gets it. I think, like we were saying with the Travis Scott thing, mainstream equals money, and he's definitely mainstream. He has his own fucking drink in every goddamn gas station you go to. I'm not hating him on my TV. I don't like him, but that doesn't mean he won't add to my enjoyment of a pro wrestling program as a heel.
I mean, I pretty much agree with you there.
I hated him eliminating Punk. I did hate that. Sorry, Michael.
Well, I think that just adds to what people want. You know what I mean? As far as backstage, they want him to get that heat. And in order for him to keep getting that heat, he has to be relevant in some way. He can't just lose all the time. So it's when you put him out there, maybe it's a little overdone, but I think for somebody of his status, in the mainstream, it's only fitting. I mean,
people have a habit to root for underdogs. They have an easy time booing some asshole that wins all the time and then tells you about it.
Exactly. And he's that perfect kind of prick that is good at everything and has no problem telling you about it.
Definitely looks the part.
If anything, he's tailor-made for the business. So he already showed it with his boxing matches that he could sell shit and he could make money and he could get people hating him. So when you're boxing against Floyd Mayweather and everyone's cheering for Floyd Mayweather, that's when you know you're a great heel.
And people are
talk about the most unlikable sports figure in the world is Floyd Mayweather, and still people were
the WrestleMania 24 match of Big Show. Big Show was the heel going into that. You wouldn't know that watching the fucking match at all. Maybe we should review that next week. You wanna that match?
Yeah,
it's not that bad. It's really
it wasn't terrible.
Last thing on Logan Paul, I totally agree, and I also feel like this kid could have fit in any era. He's just got that And maybe not with this gimmick as the douchebag Maverick, but the rich guy, blah blah blah. He just has the perfect look, the face you want to punch.
And that might be my only downside with him is I don't like the Maverick thing. I think they can come up with something a little better than that. But
yeah, so
I think the Maverick just makes me think of basketball.
Jim, I don't think we gave him the answer Jim was expecting, so we're glad we swerved you. And
yeah, we don't hate Logan Paul.
I mean, I hate him.
I mean, we
person.
do. We do, but we're supposed to.
We know how to do. And a lot of people in the IWC don't know this because they're wet brain fucking idiots. We know how to separate the art from the artist. We always have.
Yeah.
So
he's doing his job.
Michael, I'm spent. That's one of our best episodes in a while, in my opinion. I don't need to toot my own horn, but tugboat. So that's it.
I have no problem. Tooty toot toot.
Tooty toot toot. Tutti fruity. Johnny be bad. Michael, until next time, where can anyone catch you again?
You can catch me on X at Mike the Slam Pig and on Facebook at my personal Facebook account. Yeah. How about you, Travis?
Well, us, the official brand new Slam Pigs Twitter X account at the Slam Pigs Pod. Check us out over there for silly. We ran a poll the other day, literally, and you're going to be blown away by the results. The question was, who you guys voted, who's more jacked? Adam Cole or Ariana Grande? And Ariana Grande won in a fucking landslide. Look at that. So thank you guys. Expect a new poll this week. Expect a new Wilhelm of the week. And check out the Reset Button podcast with our good buddy Tannen as we talk retro games, pro wrestling. Sometimes I'm stuttering a little bit because I am spent. Until then, Slam Pigs Podcast. You can't see me.
Boy.
I hope they do trademark Break a Wish. That's great.